If you've been doing content for a while and debating on what you should upgrade, today's video is going to help you out with that exact thing. We're going to be talking about video quality, whether to use your iPhone or upgrade to a DSLR camera, your lighting, and audio recommendations, as well as the order of importance for you when it comes to all of these upgrades. Because if you're anything like me, you probably don't have the funds or don't want to spend thousands of dollars all at one time, so you want to kind of piecemeal it together. And in this video, we will show you that. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way. The first thing is, do you upgrade from an iPhone to a DSLR camera or not? Well, right now, as you can see, I am looking here at my DSLR camera. It's a Sony a6400 with the standard lens that comes with it when you first get this camera. So I haven't even upgraded the lens, which is really also an important part of DSLR cameras and can make the content even more crisp and clear. But also I have my iPhone 16 Pro here using the back camera, and actually I'll show you here in a second the front camera as well. But if you notice, there is a difference. Now I have it about as close as I can. The iPhone's camera lens is just above my DSLR camera, so it is a little bit different angle, but I wanted to be able to show you the difference in this quality. And I currently have it on 1080p 30 frames per second because this is most compatible with all social media. You can go up to 4K, but the problem with that is that then it doesn't really work across other phones, and sometimes it doesn't even work with social media. So I like to stick with the 1080p. Now let me go ahead and show you the front camera view here real quick. Now this is the front camera view. As you can see, it's not quite as good of quality of content. And as a side note for you, whether you're doing long form or short form content, I highly recommend you use the back camera because it is a much better camera. It is going to be much better for your video content, even your reels, especially now with their newer iPhones and the Pro. You're able to do half zoom and everything, so you can really get that good angle still. It is a little awkward, but it is so much better for your content if you're using that back camera. All right, so the next thing here is our audio quality. So the first one I want to start with is the iPhone video quality. So as you can see, as I'm speaking into the iPhone right now, the audio probably got a lot worse. Maybe not so much, but the audio quality, while it isn't so terrible, depending on the room, it can get very echoey. And so you won't sound as professional with this. Okay, next is the audio with my Apple AirPods Pro 2 headphones. As you can tell, I think it's even more echoey with this. It sounds a little distorted a lot of times, and if you're outside, the wind is atrocious. So really at that point, when you're outside and it's any kind of wind going, I would totally recommend just using the normal iPhone mic. It's gonna pick up so much better, and typically you can kind of cup your hand around the microphone and it'll be a lot better than using these AirPods. Next on the list is the audio from the DSLR Sony a6400 camera. As you can tell right now, it's very, very bad. It does not have great audio on it as well. The microphone is atrocious, so you might as well just give up on even trying to use this unless if you're really just desperate. But if you're going to get the camera, you need to go ahead and get some kind of audio with this camera. That's the only thing. When you go to upgrade camera, you gotta upgrade to some kind of audio as well, which we're gonna show you right now. It's the Rode Wireless Go 2 lapel mic, as you can see here. I really like this microphone set. Let me go ahead and get it on here. It is great. It has great audio quality and everything, and it's easy to set up. And there's a few different options on there. It is a little big on the bigger side, so when you have like a collared shirt, a button-down shirt, a V-neck, it tends to work well. It sits in there really, really well. But if you're using a regular t-shirt, it's really difficult. A lot of people like to, if they're wearing a hat or something, they put on their hat as well. So there's a lot of options that you can do with it, and it does pick up fairly well. If you want to use it on the iPhone, when I had an iPhone 13 at the time, I think 14 is when they finally went to USB-C. With the lightning cable, it did not work, but with USB-C, it works beautifully. My audio is so much better, so it's an easy way for you to upgrade that audio without upgrading that DSLR camera. But as you can tell, this audio is superb now. And then the last thing, and of course, there's many microphones on the market, but as you can see right here, I have my Rode microphone. It's just been sitting in front of me this whole time, but I promise we are now using this on the audio part of this segment. So this Rode microphone, I don't even remember what it's called, a Rodecaster Pro or no, I think that's, anyways. It's a Rode microphone, let's put it that way. They're kind of the top of the line of everything audio when it comes especially to podcasting or social media content. But there's a lot of other great options out there. But as you can tell, this is very crisp and clear sound in comparison to all those other options. May not be too much different, but I find that this one really isolates all the background noise. Every other audio option that I have with me in my arsenal tends to pick up the echo, tends to pick up a lot of the background noise. Sometimes this one does as well, but the nice thing with the microphone like this is that it, and I forget the technical terms for it, but basically it only goes right here. It doesn't spread way out spatially to pick up all the noise around. So that's the great thing with using some kind of microphone like this that's going to, and I like XLR, I think is the connection here on the back, the XLR connection or whatever that connection is, but you can look up to find yourself any microphone. Actually, my first original microphone was this Audio-Technica ATR 2100. It had both options. So you had the XLR or whatever it's called, and then you had a USB mini option to be able to plug in directly, and both work really well. I personally didn't notice a difference between the USB option and the XLR bigger plug input, but this microphone only has the bigger plug input. So then you'll need an audio interface to be able to use it, but that's a totally different thing. An audio interface will also help you with your audio, but in another video, we'll talk about that. So the next thing that I want to talk about is your lighting. So when it comes to lighting, this is a very important thing when it comes to video content, especially if you're not outside, or even if you are outside, lighting plays a key role in how in the world do you look. So right now I have all my lighting set up. I'm going to go ahead and turn all of it off, and we're going to start from the top. All right, we're going to start right here. So I literally only have my computer screen on right now. I have nothing else on. I've got a window that's letting some sunlight in, but that's even got some shade over it. Not completely, but it's got some shade over it. And so that's what you're seeing right now. Not a lot. And if I actually, and if I turn off my monitor, it's even worse. So you can see what we have here. I look purple when I have the monitor on. There you go. All right, and depending on what screen you have on, it also will change that. So I've got dark mode on, so it's a little bit better. But if I go to something with light mode, there we go. It's even brighter, and depends on the size of your screen as well. But that will change what you look like on the screen. So you have to keep this in mind as well as you're creating this video content. Let me go ahead and turn on the overhead lights. As you can see, after this option, I will no longer have the overhead lights on, but it is very bad. You can see now I've got like a shadow chin, so instead of a double chin, I've got a shadow chin. Great stuff. But my, you can see where my forehead, my eyes have shadows. There's a ton of shadow just casting down. So having light over you isn't necessarily a great thing. And so if you're in a small room, I recommend not having the lights on because they're just overpowering, unless if you can really adjust them in some way, shape, or form. Even when I turn on my front-facing light, just a little ring light, it still doesn't help out any. Or helps out just a little bit, but not enough. So let me go ahead and turn off the overhead light again. And so we'll go here now to our Ring camera. As you can tell, it's a lot better than it was when I only had the computer monitor on and some natural light coming in, but it's still not that great quality. And so you can really buy any kind of bigger ring lights. I got the GVM CR or I97 TLC I97. LED lights. These have been really good for me, and I will go ahead and turn them on at this point for you. So if you notice, I do have a light behind me. This is something also that I've added. But as you can tell, the lighting is a lot better, but it can get even better. And so what I do is actually my left light is a little bit brighter than the right light here on me. They're also at different levels. One has more white light in it versus the yellow or brown light. I don't know all these technical terms for lighting, so bear with me. I'm telling you just as somebody is experiencing this, not some lighting and audio engineer here. But then the right one is a little bit more dim. The brightness on both of them are set a little bit different as well. So you get a little bit more light from this way versus this way. Kind of have some more contrast there on myself. I still have the ring light before me. But the final thing I want to share with you is the light behind me, because this actually helps create separation for you from your background. It also helps out with a little bit of the shadows that are still cast behind me because of the brightness of the light. So I'm still working on creating better lighting, but it's always going to be a work in progress. I feel like lighting is always that thing that is a work in progress. So now I've got the final light behind me. So I've got now 4 lights essentially. One almost at, one on each 45, one directly in front of me, and then behind me I've got one that helps kind of get me from the background. Again, still working on this, but having that professional lighting will be super helpful for you to have better, more crisp video content. Will help your video editor with video editing rather than trying to focus in on you. And as you can see, I actually still had my monitor on a white background, which then you can totally tell a difference there too. So lighting is one thing that you're always going to have to kind of touch up. I feel like I'm constantly touching up on these. And now when it comes to doing upgrades, what things should you upgrade first? If you have the means and the funds to be able to upgrade everything, do it all. You're going to thank yourself later for doing that. But for those of you that are like me, that we're not able to upgrade everything all at once, and I have continued to just kind of upgrade and piecemeal things here and there, that's not a problem. But between a DSLR camera, from iPhone to DSLR camera, sorry Samsung people, but I'm talking about iPhone. But if you are a Samsung person, obviously same thing there. Upgrading your audio quality and upgrading your lighting quality. Out of all of those, recommend that you upgrade your audio quality first, then your lighting, and then finally your video content. And actually, if you're going to upgrade that video, I would maybe do that first, and then you can find the lighting, because when you do lighting, you probably have to upgrade again, which is what happened to me. I upgraded lighting with the iPhone in mind. It worked great, and then I got the DSLR camera, and then it wasn't so great. I've also I just want to upgrade as well, but you can still get away with it, but you might end up upgrading twice on the lighting. But lighting is relatively cheap in comparison with upgrading from an iPhone to a DSLR camera, even though really the iPhones are right there at around $1,000 anyways, and you're fairly good, but not your super pro level. DSLR cameras are there at around $1,000 as well. So either way, you can't go wrong. But my recommendation for upgrading one of these first is your audio, then your lighting, and then finally your video. That's the order of importance. But why is that? The reason why is that audio is going to make or break people listening to you. First and foremost, if your message is not good, people aren't going to listen. But once they're finally listening to that message, they may still tune you out if your audio sounds terrible. It sounds like there's a bunch of echoes, or you hear dogs in the background, kids are screaming, whatever. They're going to tune away for at least that video, that episode. But once you get your audio better, then people will listen in more, as long as that message is still good. The next thing is why I say lighting, because lighting will help you not have shadows, will help you be able to look more crisp and clear, and automatically makes your video content that much better, because now you are able to be seen. The camera isn't having to work near as hard to make you visible. Now, the great thing about the iPhone, which again is why I say lighting first, is the iPhone will adapt to it. It's a lot smarter than most DSLR cameras are. They don't adapt as much. They're very much static. this is what's set up. So you have to really know cameras to be able to adjust those settings. Versus the iPhone, it makes it simple for you. But if you're finally ready to upgrade from the iPhone because, oh, it's the iPhone, I don't want to have everything on there, it's only got a limited amount of space, I get it. I have to delete stuff all the time because of that, or upload it very quickly to the Google Drive so my team can have it and I can get it off my phone. The DSLR camera is going to be that thing for you. Upgrade. And there's many great options, but make sure you do your research on that and pick what's going to be best for you, because if you're going to get lenses, which is what really separates the DSLR camera from the iPhone, they aren't cross compatible between brands most of the time. So make sure that you decide to be a Sony person, decide to be a Canon person, whatever camera you decide to go with, you're not going to go wrong necessarily. But if you start to upgrade those lenses, they won't go across different brands. So if this video was helpful for you at all, or you have any more questions when it comes to what you should upgrade for your social media content, ask the question below in the comments and we'd be happy to answer those questions for you.